Picture this. You just boarded a packed flight. You're juggling your carry-on, your nerves, and your rookie excitement for a huge industry convention. You finally reach your row, but someone's already sitting in your seat. And not just sitting, acting like they own it. What would you do? Well, I'll tell you exactly what I did, and how it turned into one of the most unexpectedly satisfying moments of my life. If you've ever had your boundaries disrespected, or just wish karma would show up right on time, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Sweet Revenge Tales, and buckle up, because this story proves that sometimes the sweetest revenge is letting someone humiliate themselves. This happened about 10 years ago. Back then, I was just starting out in my career. Still the rookie, still figuring things out. That year, I was flying across the country to attend a huge industry convention with two of my senior colleagues. It was the night before the first day, and honestly, that flight might as well have been a flying networking mixer. Every row was filled with people from our industry, executives, managers, veterans, and rising stars. My colleagues were nodding, shaking hands, greeting people as we walked down the aisle. And me? I trailed behind, trying to keep up, carrying the wide-eyed energy of someone new. I wasn't nervous, exactly, but I wanted to make a good impression. What I didn't expect was that my very first challenge of the trip would happen before we even left the runway. When I got my assigned seat, I froze. There she was, a woman, maybe in her early 30s, sitting comfortably in my spot. She had oversized sunglasses on, inside the plane, mind you, paired with massive studio headphones. She leaned back with her hands neatly folded on her lap, like she was starring in her own in-flight magazine cover. Her body language screamed, "Don't bother me. I don't care who you are." At first, I tried to be polite. "Excuse me," I said softly. "Nothing." I tapped her shoulder. Still nothing. I spoke louder. I tapped again. Nothing. 6 tries later, she finally cracked open her eyes in this exaggerated, annoyed way, as though I was the one being rude for disturbing her royal nap. I tried explaining, "Hi, I think you might be in my seat." But instead of replying, she just pointed at her headphones, shrugged dramatically, and raised her hands in a "what can I do?" gesture. I wanted to scream. You could try taking them off, for starters. But she just kept pretending she couldn't hear me, smirking under those sunglasses. Meanwhile, a line of passengers was piling up behind me. I could feel their eyes burning into me, silently judging. Why can't this guy just sit down already? My ears were red. My stomach was twisting into knots. So I pulled out my boarding pass and showed her the seat number, clear as day. And suddenly, her act dropped. She mouthed and exaggerated, "Oh," like she had just understood. Then she tucked her knees in half an inch and gestured for me to squeeze past her. No way. This was a middle seat she was generously letting me slip into. It was my seat. I wasn't about to reward her arrogance by climbing over her like some circus acrobat. I tried again. "I need you to move." She just tucked her knees in again. And that's when I snapped. I raised my voice, loud enough for everyone around to hear. "I'm not the one getting in. You are." Her face changed instantly. She recoiled like she'd been caught red-handed. Then, without another word, she scooted over to the window seat where she actually belonged. The man behind me in line gave me a discreet thumbs up as he passed. And that little gesture? Oh, it was pure gold. It told me I wasn't crazy, and everyone else had seen through her game too. I thought that was the end of it, but she wasn't done. After takeoff, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned, and there she was again, lowering her headphones. She leaned in and said, in this falsely sweet tone, "If you like, we could switch seats." I blinked. "No thanks, I'm fine here." I said it politely, but inside, I was amused. After all that drama, her sudden generosity was laughable. But she wasn't done. A little later, when I was chatting with my colleagues across the aisle, she tapped me again. This time, she said, "The offer extends to your friends too." Ah, there it was. The smugness, the condescension. She wanted to show she was somebody in the industry, important enough to swap seats with. I just chuckled lightly and said, Sure. What she didn't know was that I had already texted my colleagues about her stunt. They knew exactly who she was, and they had zero interest in entertaining her little ego trip. But she just wouldn't let it go. 3 separate times during that 6-hour flight, she circled back, always the same routine. Have you asked your colleagues yet? Could you please check with them? Maybe they'd like to switch? And every time, I gave her the same cheerful, dismissive answer. Sure. That was my private revenge. She wanted power. She wanted recognition. She wanted to feel superior. Instead, she just made herself look desperate, begging, repeating, clinging to some imagined importance. And the best part? My colleagues didn't just ignore her. They Mariah carried her, meaning, in their eyes, she simply didn't exist. No acknowledgement, no engagement, nothing. For the rest of that flight, she was stuck in her own little bubble of embarrassment. She tried to belittle me, to humiliate me, to make me bow to her arrogance. Instead, she wound up being the one humiliated, squirming behind her oversized sunglasses and headphones, desperate for validation that never came. And me? I didn't have to lift a finger beyond my lighthearted, sure. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is simply letting someone reveal who they really are and watching everyone else quietly agree. She wanted control. She wanted to prove she was more important. But in the end, her only legacy from that flight was being the woman who tried and failed to bully a rookie out of his own seat. No shouting, no chaos, just subtle, quiet humiliation stretched across 6 long hours at 30,000 feet. And I can't lie, it felt amazing. Looking back, I never saw her again in my professional life. But I didn't need to. That flight taught me something far more valuable. Bullies thrive on attention, on your discomfort, on you giving them what they want. But if you stand firm, if you smile, if you deny them that power, they crumble all on their own. If this story gave you chills, or if you've ever dealt with someone trying to steal your seat, your time, or even your dignity, smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's your most satisfying travel revenge story? And of course, subscribe to Sweet Revenge Tales for more true stories where karma shows up right on time. Until next time, fly safe, and don't let anyone take your seat.